Valid. We're better, but it's going right.
And my volume is very low, but I don't think that will matter. So we're gonna go to share.
That's why we got to boost the immune system. I know. Are you really interested in
Here.
your beef product? Oh, yeah.
Slideshow
We're gonna sample from back.
from the start.
That one, so it'll.
All right,
Yeah.
it'll recognize the signal in just a minute. There you go. All right. Okay, if you can kind of click on my link, I'll let you in. And then you let me know what you see to make sure you have a actual visual of the slides. I want to make sure, if they can't see me, I want to make sure they at least see a slide.
I'm pregnant, I have two daughters, I had my daughters since for living, and one is pregnant with twins. In 5 weeks, the other one's pregnant in Colorado with a little boy, so twin girls and.
Oh my goodness,
And now
you
like
are
20,
going to, I hope you have a
22.
notepad.
22 grandkids.
I hope you, oh, that is a wonderful legacy. Wow, what a wonderful legacy.
That's that age is all.
Fabulous. Okay,
So I'm very curious about some of your products.
all right. So do we have visual? And Marlene, if you can do yours too, that would be
Okay,
fantastic.
then I'll get off Zoom and Stephanie can look at Zoom. and
Okay, can you see the slides on Zoom? I didn't let you in yet, though.
I gotta try and get in.
I need to let you in, girl. Ask Dorothy if she can see my slides. Cause she's on Zoom.
I'm thinking, yeah, let me in there.
I see you. There you go.
Can you send me the memory? Cause I copy and paste.
Awesome.
But
All right, can you see my slides?
Progress.
there.
All right, can you see my slides?
Wait a minute, I'm going to get my thing recorded again because I'm a big reverberating.
All right.
Because I'm in the learn.
Do you need that charger you had in between?
No, I just need to plug this in so we're not gonna hear that.
Technical
Yeah.
If I can, I don't know.
technical techniques. Yay. All right, so. All right, but can you see the slides, Marlena?
What, honey?
Can you see my slide?
Yes, I see your card.
That's all I needed to know. Hallelujah.
Okay.
All right. All right, Alexander, come on up here and introduce me and let's get rolling because we are being recorded.
That's me. No,
Go ahead.
Introduce her.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming today, for joining us. I have a huge blank in my hand.
It will come to you.
My friend, Lavan, she's,
Certified.
certified nutritionist, and she empowers and teaches us how to, and encourages us how to have a healthy life and how to lifestyle. Having a healthy lifestyle gives us the opportunity to live forward to the fullest of the optimal. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You're in a safe place. That's good. That's good. Look at the wonderful display that Alexandra put up for us. She's gonna start with some wonderful goodies, some great samples and goodies. All right, let me let Stephanie in. Yay. Yay. Welcome, Stephanie. Welcome, Dorothy. Welcome, Marlena. It is a pleasure and honor to be here. And you know, it's an honor to help people because we're living in times when there's a lot of things that are working against us, against our health, against just quality families, and against a lot of things. So it's good to know that we have something positive that we can share with people that will make a difference, that's bringing tools that bring a solution. And so my stories, I homeschooled my two children all the way through. I loved it. It was just a passion and a heart's desire of mine. And they used to call me the muffin lady, because I would have a garden and I would grow my zucchinis and make banana muffins or bread or zucchini bread, and I would bring it to one of our meetings, and that's what we would eat. I would always pack our own lunches, you know, when everybody was, we were running to, you know, play the games, you know, basketball, volleyball meets and all of those things, and 4-H and all those activities. And I would end up packing our lunches while they stopped at Wendy's or Burger King or McDonald's. I was packing out, okay, this is what we were eating. I never drank the coffees. I always had an herbal tea on hand. So I got a reputation, weird, you know, get back, don't talk to me. You ever felt that way at times? Like, you're the weird one, you don't go along with the crowd here. But something inside of me said, I had to be different for my, not only for my own survival, but what God was planning for my life in the future. And so, you know, I ground my own wheat, baked my own bread, made my own yogurts. We did, oh my goodness. I used to meet on the interstate, the big truck, to get the wheat berries from the Midwest.
Wow.
And then I would seal it up in containers. And one day, you know, the little weevils that get in the wheat? I lift the container and all of a sudden there was a cloud of weevils that filled my house.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. It was quite hilarious. But when I first got pregnant, I thought, you know, I want to learn. I want to do better. And so the very first book that I ever obtained had to be through the library, not Mr. Google or .com. And it was Adele Davis, Let's Have Some Healthy Children. And it opened my eyes to a whole new world. And I had a passion in my heart against injustice. And so then I read another book. Dr. Mendelssohn wrote a book called The Confessions of a Medical Heretic. And he worked with Sir Edward Coop, who was our medical general of the United States at that time. And we had the honor and privilege of our family to meet him. We would come and have meetings. And I saw their heart and their passion. And and he used to be on radio shows and interviews. He changed a lot of lives during that time. They actually fought against abortion. They fought for life on the conservative side of life. And so those were the things that kind of cut my teeth on making better decisions with my life. I remember after I gave birth, I felt really good, had high energy with my first child. And after I gave birth, I didn't know I was experiencing postpartum depression and my just brain fog and a lot of symptoms that I understand today. And I didn't know that I was missing some special nutrients like omega-3s, because there are studies now that coming in saying that if a woman has enough omega-3, she will not suffer postpartum depression, and her child will have a 30% increase in its IQ. Let that sink in. Japan did that study. Wow, what a magnificent difference. So when I get on the phone and I'm talking with a young lady and she's talking, I just can't get over this. I'm tired all the time. This is happening to me. All right, I just gave birth to my 3rd or 4th or 5th child. And I go, I know what you need. And you know what? It works every time. It's quite amazing. It works every time. So the body's one big rule is to give it healthy fuel. You can't compromise this one. You can't alter it, you can't deny it, you will suffer the consequences if you do try to. And oh boy, yes, we try to. I like to give a scripture because in thee they trusted and were not disappointed. See, when you go, for me, my guideline is God's word. And so when God's word talks about going back in Genesis, that let your food be your medicine, Hippocrates said it, let your food be your medicine. And the further that we get away from that concept or that principle or that governing rule of our life, the further we get into chronic disease and we get into traps and snares and troubles. And you know, there's been times where, because I do a lot of research, and sometimes it's very, you know, I can be a Debbie Downer at times because of all the research that I do. But if I hadn't believed that God will make a way for us, I would have been in the utter despair. But God, He makes a way. So I like to talk about Dr. God's Pharmacy, Pharmcy. These are the basic doctors that Dr. God lays out for us. And when we pay attention to it, guess what? We reap the harvest of Dr. God. The scripture calls our God, our creator, the great physician. And so take a deep breath. I want everybody here to take a deep breath. Through the nostrils, let your rib cage expand, hold it in 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and then through the mouth, slowly. Do you know that the more that you practice that deep, intentional breathing, the more calm you'll be, the more oxygen you send to your brain. When you go for therapy today, even if it's grief therapy or whatever it is, the first thing they're going to teach you is how to breathe. Because you can actually regulate so many things in your body's autonomic sympathetic nervous system through just your breathing. Dr. Water. Okay, all you got to do is Google fluoride and PUFAs and all kinds of PCBs and BPAs and all of those things are in our water. We're sitting in a town right now, by the way, that is inundated with arsenic in your water. This is why you have a zone in Valdosta of childhood cancer, because you have the poultry farms here, and they gave the poultry arsenic. And you know why they gave it arsenic? So the meat would be nice and white and not a bit dingy, because we like white chicken meat when we go to buy it. So they give the chickens arsenic just before they go off to harvest, because they give it too soon, they'll die from the arsenic. But it found its way into the water supply in Valdosta. So I would highly recommend, and I can share this with you later, on what I would recommend, what I've seen that is a good water filter and system for your home. Sleep is a time where you can't compromise sleep. One of the ways the Chinese torture you is no sleep. So you know that sleep is important. It's a time of repair. It's a time of refreshing. It's a time of sorting things out, vacuuming up the debris in the brain. It's a time where the body shuts down in order to go to work on. You ever seen where you got a construction on a major highway? It's in the middle of the night that they shut her down into one lane because there's less traffic, right? At 2 a.m. And then you find, well, they're out there doing the major construction. But that's what happens. And I meet people all the time that if they're not sleeping, I guarantee you they're not thinking, because the neurons in the brain will begin to misfire. And then the anxiety levels will actually build. And then if you have any kind of fear or paranoia, mounted, layered with anxiety, you're going to live on the edge if you're not sleeping. So it's very, very important. I just talked somebody off the ledge the other night that called me up in a panic. They were sitting in their car and they were gonna do something stupid. And I said, okay, first thing I told them, we're gonna breathe, take a deep breath, pause. And then after that, we prayed. And then after that, I asked specific questions so I could step them through what they're, because they had hit the panic button. By the time we were finished, and it took about 45 minutes, then they were ready on much better. Praise the Lord. I took them, the Lord told me to take them to John chapter 10 and go over it. And I did, and I tell you, it dispelled the anxiety, it dispelled the fear. And I said, now you both, it was a husband and wife actually, and it was trouble over a child. And they said, okay, we have peace. We've landed with peace. And I said, now go in and go to sleep and have a good night's rest. And you know what? I called them the next day and they did. Yeah. Dr. Sunshine, you know that 90% of our children are deficient in vitamin D. If you're deficient in vitamin D, you're going to get leaky gut syndrome. You're going to get all kinds of problems. That means your immune system's not working up to par. Vitamin D, if you're very, very, very severe in vitamin D, you'll get something called rickets, which is a muscle issue where it deforms the bones and the muscles. Well, we don't want to get that severe, do we? No, that's just a standard recommendation of the USDA, just so you don't get rickets. But the problem is we're not going outside. We're not in the sunlight, in the sunshine, and we're using sun blockers, sunscreens, which actually cause cancer, by the way. We have a solution here that won't cause cancer. And we wear sunglasses. Do you know that you need to see the sun through the pupil of your eyes in order to release melatonin? Melatonin is a major factor in your immune system and setting your body clock and your body rhythm. So if somebody has messed up their body clocks that they can't sleep at night or up till 5 in the morning, this and that, and they got their days mixed up, because this has been all studied. They've had these issues with people that work night shifts, nurses, medical, factory work, that work night shifts, and they got their melatonin, which comes out of your pineal gland. It's not being released, it's blocked. Well, what releases it is sunshine through the eyes. So if you wear sunglasses, you're not getting that melatonin release, which is part of your immune system, part of your body rhythm and clock. Dr. Rest, which is different than sleep. Now, rest is when you say, I always tell people, take at least 10 to 15 minutes, go on and walk barefoot outside, touch a tree, get you a lounge chair or something, sit underneath that tree and just enjoy nature. Let God, the God that created the nature, sing to you. Let it empty out the levels of anxiety and the phone call you got that morning or the stress that you had throughout the day. Release it. Find a way to release it. Let it go. Even if it's 10 minutes, do some deep breathing, some meditation in terms of, I always point to the Word of God, put some worship music on and enjoy. You'd be shocked how your body's sympathetic nervous system will release the tension because it's there. And then that's what they call vacation. Do you know in Europe, they make you take a much longer vacation than here in America? You get your 2 weeks a year, right? That's it. And then, of course, if you're a great employee, you've been there 40, 50 years, you might get 4 weeks, right? But in Europe, they actually take months off. You try to get a job done during that time, forget it. They're all taking the bus, the train, the plane out of Dodge, out of Europe, out of London. Why? Because they get a vacay and they're going to all these places in order to retreat for their families. You know why they implement that? It's because they know that the body can only handle a burden of stress for a period of time, and it needs to relieve that stressful time. Doctor, exercise, we need to get up, we need to move. When I first come here, I said, oh, I'm going up and down those stairs. What do you guys have been doing? Up and down those stairs, running around? Because you know, your body was created to move. We are in a sedentary lifestyle. We sit at a desk, we sit in front of our screens all day long, and we're suffering from it. We're suffering from it as families, as children, and then having fun activities and laughing together as families. Laughter is a medicine. Then we want to talk about Dr. Food. Why? Because on the chain of producing a body burden, food sits on the top. No, I say stress sits on the top, then food. Eat only organic if possible. Find a market, find a farm that's been doing it right. Do you know that Bill Gates has bought a lot of your farms right here in Valdosta? Yes, and do you know it takes 7 years to take a farm that's been traditional farming and then turn it back into an authentic organic farming? Wow, 7 years. And so there's something that that's to be noted, that Bill Gates is buying up all the farms across the United States. He knows something. Non-GMO, pesticide-free, cook from scratch, nothing in a box, canned, packet, or frozen. Homemade with fresh ingredients is always best. Eat living food, salads, ginger, celery, electrolytes. Those are all wonderful things that we can put into our body that's going to yield a great benefit of nutrition. Avoid sugar, starches, processed carbs, pasta, bread, cereals, and crackers. Kellogg's, I was born up there around the corner from Kellogg, Battle Creek, Michigan. And it was the big thing. Oh my goodness, you wanted to go through the Kellogg's manufacturing facility. It was always the big thing. But when I did my research on the Kellogg thing and the cereal thing, I was furious. Number one, Kellogg's did their own study on cereal, and they found that the rat would live 90% longer if it ate the box and left the cereal alone. And then I was more furious this past year when the USDA came out with their new food pyramid and put Lucky Charms and Kellogg's Rice Krispies and all that at the bottom base of the food pyramid. Go figure. And I'll give you a couple of things on what I discovered when I did my research. Is, how do I say this? Mr. Kellogg wanted to turn everyone into a vegetarian because he had a religious reason to take us away from meat, bacon and eggs, and its protein. So what he chose to do was to create a cereal that was sweet, that had a crunch, that would be appetizing, that would be quick and convenient, but there was one fundamental problem. It had no nutrition in it. So they would turn around and fortify it with iron, but they would get the iron from shards of metal from China. I have actually done this many a time, showing you the shards of metal that is in cereal. And then they found out that the protein, they use rice, they use corn, they use wheat, the type of protein the perfect measure of a protein is an egg. And an egg is kind of like jello or gelatin, right? Very very fluid. All right. So when you fry that egg or cook that egg, it becomes solid, right? All right, so the perfect protein for digestibility and everything is the fluid egg. That's why a lot of bodybuilders use raw eggs in their little smoothies. But when you take when you take rice and wheat and corn, which is what they make cereal out of, and you bake it in this high combustion pressure, it distorts that protein molecule to where it becomes a poison to the body. Crunch, crunch away. Peanut butter, popcorn, they actually peanut butter because it has, they found, and they tested peanut butter all over the United States and found fungus in it. And it has nothing to do with how it's grown, how it's harvested, but it's how it's stored. Because they do not find this same fungus in Europe because they store it differently in Europe. But this is a fungus that causes depression, causes ADD, causes ADHD, causes emotional issues, causes a dysbiome, which is just a out of balance in the gut, bacteria, things like that. Popcorn is very, very acidic, limited. And those little kernels are like little shards of glass in the gut. Reduce acid type foods. So human body burden, let's talk about what is happening today. If you are pregnant or if you know someone that is pregnant, how important it is to know where we're at on the scale. The umbilical cord carries the building blocks of life. It's a living link to the developing baby, a steady stream of industrial chemicals, pollutants, and pesticides that cross the placenta as readily as cigarette smoking and as alcohol. Oh my goodness, this is the human body burden, the pollution that permeates babies in the womb. The last test that they showed with testing umbilical cords showed 287 industrial chemicals. Some of those chemicals were like DDT, which was banned back in the 60s, but are still showing up in the umbilical cords. So you can see here, mother's wake-up call, up to half of pregnancies end in miscarriage. That's shocking to me. That is shocking. This should not be. 54% of children have a chronic disease. There's something wrong with that picture. Sperm count has dropped almost 60% in the last 40 years. Oh my goodness. This is affecting our human race. This is affecting our progeny, our future generations. You can see autism up, birth defects up, asthma. What's shocking here is leukemia. You know what the #1 cause of leukemia is eating processed meats like deli, sliced sandwich, hot dogs. All of that processed meats is loaded with nitrites, which actually cause nitrosamines, which is highly carcinogen. They did a study showing that if a male ate, I think it was 9 hot dogs in 30 days, and conceived a child during that time, that it increased the child's susceptibility for leukemia like 900%. That's shocking. That's shocking. So infertility, birth defects, sperm counts. We're in trouble. I'm so glad you're here because you're going to get some tools to help those that want to make a difference. Fetal exposures lead to adult disease. So they're showing now that the child that has these burden already, born with this burden, will actually lead to diabetes, the chronic types of diseases down the road, which is heart disease, cancers. And so there's a doctor that says recent studies shed light and knew how live chemical exposures set adult disease in motion. These are all shown with an estimate of 75,000 chemicals registered in the US and an average of 7 new ones that is being released on a daily basis. the ramifications are enormous. So what's the risk factors? You can actually see the increase from 1975, 1980s is when they started releasing a lot of these chemicals, induced testicular cancer. I personally know several of my friends that their sons, when they were teenagers, got testicular cancers. These are all attributed to coming in contact with all of these toxic poisons and the pesticides. A broad array of environmental factors plays a pivotal role in initiating promoting of cancer. What do you think? Cancer's on the rise? It is on the rise. 1980 toxins from the womb to the tomb. 50 years of the largest experiment in history, 10,000 chemicals in the USA, but they only have approved 400 in Europe. It takes them 10 years before they will release a chemical in Europe. If you have enough money and enough lobbying power, you can get your chemical released in a food or in whatever manufacturing facility and like that. So we find ourselves in a country that is fat, sick, nearly dead. If you've not seen that documentary, watch it. Suffering chronic disease, depressed and sterile. Household life. So let's talk about how many we can eliminate. It's in our own home, our household chemicals. I walked into the bathroom here when I walked in. I go, yeah. Chemical number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my goodness. I used to be one of these. I used to clean houses. I used bleach. I used Lysol. I used all these things until I started suffering from asthma. I started getting, I had bronchial issues. I had upper respiratory issues. And I was like, what is going on here? 82,000 chemicals released in the environment. A household or a housewife is 55% more susceptible to getting cancer because she stays the longest in her home, in her environment. So here's tip number 1, crack your windows. We're going to teach you how to switch out to healthier choices, but crack your window. You need to circulate. I talk with people who do mold remediation, who do a lot of going in and testing where the chemicals are in the home that's making a sick home syndrome. And they tell you every time, crack your window. Crack a window in your home. Get some, I don't care if it's 150 degrees outside. Crack your window and get some circulation going. When you get in your car, do not press the button that circulates the cabin air, because the benzene alone is like, it's like 1,000 times more powerful when you circulate your air in the cabin of your vehicle. These are derived from petroleum, coal, and they contain a lot of toxins that affect the neurotransmitters, hormone disrupting. So they're hormone disrupting. If the body can't eliminate it, then it will accumulate it. Did you hear that? There's a lot of toxins. I did a call with a young lady the other day. She goes, do you know what PUFAs are? And do you know what VOCs are? I said, yes. She said, because she had to fly into Boston and have all kinds of analysis done on her body to find out what in the world was poisoning her. And this is what they nailed it. And these are type of chemicals that they don't even know how to get rid of. They're like forever, they're called forever chemicals. They have no idea. Once you release them into the environment, they're there. The chemical industry spends $1 billion brainwashing us to buy their toxic products. 90% of the population applies 300 million pounds of these poisons every day. If you want to watch a documentary that I got some of my research from, it's called 10 Americans. It's a documentary called 10 Americans. Make sure you have your box of tissue with you when you do. Home care, according to EWG, health effects, respiratory problems. You got asthmas on the rise with children. Stop putting these plug-ins for air fresheners. Get rid of the dryer sheets. Get rid of the downy and the dryer softeners. It's equivalent to smoking packs of cigarettes and carcinogens. It causes asthma. causes allergies. I can tell you how many that I talk to that say body rashes on their children's body, and many times it's the laundry soap that they've been using that is because it gets stuck in the fibers, and then the child runs around and sweats and runs, and this is where Australia found was cancer was in abundance around this area and the groin area, and they said, well, if the sun's causing cancer, we must all be walking around naked in the sun. No, it was the laundry detergent that they're using that's full of toxins. Allergies and asthma, these are problems. Corporate policy, Tide was the worst offender. How many years ever used Tide? I confess I have.
Yes, I have.
In the past, I have. Oh my goodness. It had the highest phthalates and 4-dioxane. 2010 study conducted the Organic Consumers Association. Irish Snow and Tide had the highest level. How about Clorox? Clorox have high levels of carcinogens. BPA's blood tested. US have become the toxic dumping ground for the industrial manufacturers. So the industry has a byproduct after they make your plastics, after they make your steel, after they make your gasoline. And in this byproduct, thanks to Mr. Rockefeller, he hired the scientists to figure out a way of taking those byproducts and putting them in your skincare and your vitamins and your laundry and your cleaning. Oh, wow. If I was a business person wanting to make big profits, that would be, I'd be filling my pocket to the left and to the right. So we have insufficient label laws. Personal care products, the same. Fragrances are the number one. They do not regulate fragrances. A lot of hormone disrupting happening with fragrances. Your favorite cologne, you get some from Nordstrom's for your holidays or as a gift, are causing cancer, are causing hormone dysregulation. Body lotions, shampoos, hair conditioners, all of these things can actually disrupt. Have you ever heard of Johnson and Johnson? All right, have you typed in Johnson and Johnson in lawsuit? You'll know that they were perpetrators in initiating all kinds of cancers. It didn't happen instantly when you put that powder or lotion on. It was called death by 1,000 doses of poison. And it would, again, if the body can't get rid of it, it will accumulate it. Then down the road, you've got ovarian cancer, you've got uterine cancer, you've got ovarian cancer, you've got breast cancer, you've got testicular cancer, you've got prostate cancer. Are you getting the picture? Hair dyes, you can choose an alternative hair dye that is much milder with a lot less of the chemicals that are in it. Even nail polish, if you're pregnant, leave the nail polish off for right now because there are studies showing birth defects associated to the nail polish, body scrubs, sunscreen, toothpaste, and deodorant. Yes, toothpaste, it's loaded with fluoride. It's loaded with artificial sweeteners. Watch out for your toothpaste. Don't get a toothpaste with fluoride. It is a known carcinogen, neural disruptor. And then get one that is as natural as can be. We're going to show you how you can actually use something up here. Plant versus petroleum. Make sure you trust your maker. Make sure it's 100% biodegradable. Earth-friendly, no toxic fumes. By the time you smell something, it's already on the brain. It's already active in the brain and disrupting things. No harsh chemicals. So cleaning products, caution. Are you cleaning products harming you and your children? Again, bleaches, Lysols, cleaners. Remember, and I'm dating myself, where the commercials would be Mr. Clean, you know, and you spray this on the tile and it does the work for you and bubbles up. All of that is extremely, extremely toxic. Did you know vapors from cleaning products, toxic fumes on the lungs? Over 20,000 children are treated in the ER annually due to household cleaners. How'd you like to have a household cleaner that if your child drank it, he would actually just, bubble up and be happy? 95% of synthetic fragrances comes from petroleum, hormone disruptors, birth defects, headaches, digestive issues. Did you know that if you use a automatic dishwashing soap, if you use Dawn, if you use Joy, if you use all these dish soaps, it leaves a residue on your dishes. You're eating it, it goes into the gut, it totally messes up the gut biome. The child's got all kinds of problems. All of a sudden, they got allergies to this and allergies to that. All of a sudden, this food upsets them. They've got depression going on. We did a class one time, a couple came and they said their daughter all of a sudden got depressed and wanted to commit suicide over and over again. They had her tested for everything. They couldn't find it. They had her on all these drugs. They couldn't leave her alone because she would try to attempt suicide. They were just at their wits' end. When they came to one of our classes, I said, check out your shampoo, check out your conditioner, check out your lotion, check out your skincare, all of it. Well, they went home and pulled their daughter's hair conditioner, looked at the label and found that it had an ingredient that caused depression and suicidal thoughts. They got rid of it and the daughter became completely normal. I mean, this is that effective at changing your whole life by just simply changing your shampoo and hair conditioner. Asthma, allergies, cancers, ADD, ADHD, childhood obesity. Here's the problem, is it sets up the gut in order to set your child on obesity because of the disruption that is happening. Okay, so here are what I'm gonna recommend. Why? Because it's the best, it works, it's great, and it costs pennies a day. Hallelujah. Especially the green. So Alexandra, come on up. We're gonna show you how to wash your fruits and vegetables with the green. Oh my goodness. Have you ever walked into Publix and seen their big sign that says our produce has been coated with, and it goes down the list, and it says petroleum-based and petroleum-based and then they'll say that it's all okay because it's food grade petroleum. Like I'm supposed to feel good about food grade gasoline, right? So this is an example. We're doing another meeting, right? So do we need to save some of these? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll wash this one. We cut this one in half for the next one.
Yeah,
Will that work? All right. So,
well, we can use it, I think, with the money.
okay. So, a few years ago, they actually told the farmers they had to reduce their burden of pouring pesticides on our fruits and vegetables. Well, the farmers were like, oh my goodness, we're in trouble because on Monday, if we spray and we irrigate on Tuesday and can't spray again on Wednesday, we're in trouble. So they just thought it up. We'll glue it on. How many of you got the memo that your pesticides are glued on, even organic? Did you hear what I just said? Even organic. So we went to the store and we bought an organic veggie cleaner, and we were at Whole Foods. You'd think you'd get something good at Whole Foods, hello. And we bought it, and on the label, it didn't tell everything that was on the label. So we had it analyzed ourselves at a clinic, a lab, and found it was gasoline. So we said, well, we got a product called Green. It's right here. It costs pennies a day and it's 100% organic. Hello. So we're gonna see how, when we run water over it, you get both of them. There we go.
On your laptop, has got to be turned where they can see it.
It's
On
not showing
Zoom.
her video.
Mine's black on my end, but it's not black in your.
It's showing the video on the Zoom.
Showing here, but you gotta turn your laptop around.
Oh,
They can
okay,
See it.
okay. All right. Is that better?
Yeah.
Down like that?
That's better right there, yeah.
All right, so we know that broccoli is good for us. But if broccoli has glued-on, go ahead, pesticide, are we doing a good job washing it off? Are we doing a good job washing it off? No, it's like an umbrella. That's because it has that glued-on pesticide on there. So I'm gonna put this one in the water here and we're gonna take green. I'm here, okay. So we just took a little drop of this green in here, so it's already in there, okay? And you're gonna see how it is gonna break the glued-on bonds. The pesticide, now everything in my household gets a dose of green. If you're tomatoes, you're getting green. If you're a cucumber, you're getting green. If you're an apple, you get green. If you're a lemon, you get green. If you're an orange, you get green. You get green. If you're my husband, you get green. I guarantee you, if you're my dog, my cat, my bird, whatever, you're gonna get washed in green. We have 100 different uses for this amazing green. And I don't have to worry about it being toxic. In fact, our children love it. They have bubble baths with it. It calms their skin. If you have animals, we got testimonies in the house about the animals because of the skin pH. It helps with their itching and scratching and all of the above. My husband loves it because it's a one-stop shop. One product does it all. I brush my teeth, I wash my hair, I wash my body, the whole 9 yards. Now, notice how it's sudsing up there, but can you spot the difference? Wow, spotting the difference. Now, Alexander's gonna run the water through. Yeah.
You want to show them.
I will, but let's you run the water. Do you see this one here now is safe to consume, will not cause cancer. This one here is still got a problem. Wow. Again, it costs pennies a day. We've been doing this for years and years and years. And then I watched Fox News and they got a product that they're selling me, but God only knows what's in
the
it.
other way, and
That way,
towards your laptop.
got it.
There you go.
Yes, because Dawn will do the same thing, but Dawn will kill you. In terms of the poisons, death by 1,000 doses. The poison is in the dose. All right, so you can see, wow, what a difference.
Yeah.
If you want to carry it around, let them see up close. Awesome. By the way, your produce will last longer in the refrigerator. And
Wash it and then store it?
yes,
Yes, ma'am.
you can do that. Yep.
I did too.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm here because of that demonstration at.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Told me, but I gotta go. When is your next meeting? Is it
We're
today?
having tonight at 6:30.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if I came at 7 and missed the first part and.
Yeah, we're gonna do something totally different, but I overlay a lot of my information.
Right, but like the
So
video concept, the
Yeah.
spiel. I
Come,
love this.
yes, come.
So if I don't wanna put her through that,
Yes,
you understand?
yes,
Yeah, I know how to do that, so, I promise, I have to be someone.
yes, yes, yes.
Really cool.
I'll send you.
I'm dying to try some products though, the same, that's why I'm waiting.
Marlena will be in touch with you, sweetheart. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
But
but
she's okay. Talks at 3 home tonight.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have a really amazing cleaning product that I use at my house too, that.
Yeah.
Pretty much cleans everything, so, that is part of my young living stuff, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm familiar with them, love, yeah, yeah,
Thank you so much, but you definitely have products that they don't have,
yeah,
and I'm interested in that one right there,
yeah.
I'm like ready to buy it. Not, oh, that's. oh.
Okay, awesome, thank you. God bless you. Yes, 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 yes. This is the G1 laundry. Again, we talked about the cancer in the laundry. This G1 laundry will not harm you. It is absolutely wonderful, but it works. It's biodegradable, earth-friendly, no harsh chemicals, no harsh scents, avoids heavy synthetic scents. It's very cost-effective per dose. It's quite amazing. And it works. The best thing is it works and it works beautifully. Here's the green washing. I could spend 30 minutes telling you all the things that this green can do. It's quite amazing. And then LDC is light duty cleaner. This is actually what I wash my dishes with because it breaks all the bonds of the oil. And tonight we'll do a little demo with it. Because I'm just gonna breeze over it right now because tonight we'll go further into it. I also want to share a little bit of information on this word that's on the screen, and just give people a caution. Why? Because there is a correlation between this and the childhood symptoms that we're seeing today that are on the rise. So just think about it, because there's a lot of them that they're doing right fresh out of the start. And think about, you got a fresh new baby that's come into the world, and then suddenly you're going to inject it with, you know, several, not just one, but several different foreign chemicals and heavy metals and all kinds of things inside that baby when it's just fresh and brand new into this world. And it's not developed its immune system at all. And so I believe that our creator, Dr. God, gave each person his own, you are the cure, and he gave us the ability to have our own immune system. Pay attention to that, boost and build that inner child, and when you do, guess what? You reap the benefits of it. I just counsel way too many parents that have suffered the consequences of not paying attention to this and now are trying to reverse a lot of damage. So that's all I'm going to say about that because I'm being recorded. Top 10 to avoid: seed oils, vegetable oils, artificial sweeteners, food dyes. Robert Kennedy is trying to pull some of the food dyes, the reds, the yellows. Our company was governed by the world leading toxicologist, and he was instrumental in actually pulling a yellow dye out of our food supply way back in the 1960s. Because of his position as being a world renowned toxicologist, he went to Washington, D.C., and he spoke in Congress against this particular yellow dye because he had proven that it causes cancer and a myriad of a host of symptoms. And high fructose corn syrup, which is found in all kinds of things. If you look at corn syrup, look at labels. And labels can be confusing. Used to be GMOs, now they call it bioengineered. Bioengineered is an umbrella term that is used for anything that is altering the DNA of that particular food. And so it can include CRISPR technology, nanotechnology, all kinds of other technology that they've incorporated in the GMOs. MSG, fat-free, always run from anything that says fat-free. Why? Because they actually put artificial sweetener in the dairy products that are fat-free or low-fat. Wow. And they don't even put it on the label. They don't even put it on the label. How about that? GMO, bioengineered sodium nitrate, which is in your cured bacons, your cured deli meats, hot dogs, processed meats like that. You can see in this label here that this mayo alone is loaded with the rancid oils. It's loaded with sugar, GMO. It's loaded with formaldehyde, cyanide, and it's loaded full of toxic things. Make your own mayo. There's recipes all over online that you can make it fresh for whatever you're making, the chicken salad, the tuna salad, the broccoli salads, or, you know, making it for sandwiches and things like that. Candy, all their food dyes. The problem with food dyes is it's derived from chemical byproducts of the industry, petroleum. Color additives, yes. Coal and petroleum, you can see the labels, sodium citrate, sodium sorbate, aspartame. Do you see any fruit at all in that label? None at all. It's all chemicals, 100% chemicals. Organics, farm fresh to you. There's a lot of companies now that are actually will bring farm fresh to your door. I have a son that has a busy lifestyle, he and his wife, and they have 2 young children. And that's what they chose to do, is to bring it fresh to the door, and they plan their meals out of it. And they have really good grass-fed meats, great chicken, poultry, things like that. Balance is the key. First choice, fresh, then frozen, then your last resort should be a canned vegetable. Always read the labels, avoid sodas. It's the #1 culprit that's driving childhood diabetes and obesity is sodas. As a matter of fact, in Mexico, they do not use high fructose corn syrup. They banned it. So the recipe they use for making Coca-Cola in Mexico is totally different than the one they use in America. So when they come over the border and they start eating our tortillas, our chips, and our sodas, they all get diabetes and they all get, it's severe. Eat the rainbow of colors of foods. Stay away from anything that is like green bell peppers. Choose the darker colors. Instead of drinking orange juice, eat the orange. Instead of drinking apple juice, eat the apple, because it has within that orange, within that apple, everything that God intended for that vitamin C to actually activate in the body. Also, orange juice does the same thing to the liver that alcohol does. And this is how you get, yes. So the liver takes a hit. If you're drinking a glass of orange juice in the morning before school or for the day, it does the same thing in the liver that alcohol does. Wow. So you can see here deficiencies in our diets, our soil is depleted, our diets are deficient. You're seeing here calcium alone, 73% of Americans don't even meet the RDA recommendation, which is the recommended daily allowance. You look over here, vitamin E, 86%. I have read studies from the doctors that have studied a real vitamin E, and they'll show you and tell you if everyone took a real vitamin E, not a synthetic one, but a real vitamin E every day, we could absolutely eliminate cardiovascular issues. Vitamin A, the #1 reason for blindness worldwide is a deficiency in vitamin A for children. Magnesium, 68%, so heart palpitations, anxiety, nervousness, muscle cramps, the ability to restore, all of those things because of magnesium deficiencies. This is coming straight from the USDA agriculture. This is in 2009. This chart I found in 2009. Wow, imagine how severe it is today. This is in correlation with the chronic diseases that we're seeing today. So a pioneer in nutrition, Dr. Roger Williams, great pioneer in field of nutrition, wrote, if all prospective human mothers could be fed as expertly as prospective animal mothers in the laboratory, most sterility, spontaneous abortions, stillbirths, and premature births would disappear. The birth of deformed and mentally retarded babies would be largely a thing of the past. And I just did the quote directly from his research. And he was a world-renowned expert in nutrition. Weston Price, if you don't know Weston Price, Nourishing Traditions, I love his material. He actually did the largest research ever in history worldwide, studying cultures and what they ate and how healthy their children and their offspring were. And he said primitive people were conscious of the fact that children ran the risk of being defective if the parents were not excellent physical condition as well as nourished. He wrote, in many groups, he found that girls were not allowed to get married until they had a period of special diet. Wow. It wasn't Skittles and donuts, let me tell you. In some tribes, in 6 months period, a special nutrition was required before they married. An examination of their foods has disclosed special nutritional factors, which are your, so in other words, they understood the value of preparing the womb for a healthy offspring. They understood that. Increased nutritional requirements. There are certain times in your life when you need to increase your nutritional requirements. While you're pregnant is one of them. While you're a child growing strong bones, brain neurons, all of those things, you need extra special attention. Each pregnancy requires more nutrition. They've actually pinned second child syndrome to this. Because the first child gets the most nutrition from the mother. And if the mother doesn't eat a healthy diet, then the second child gets less, third one gets less, fourth one gets less, and Dr. Weston Price observed this. What happens is the child is developing its brain, its bones, its neurological system, all of it, and it needs omegas, it needs B vitamins, it needs minerals, and it will take from the mother. And then the mother goes into postpartum depression and doesn't even know why, because she's deficient in omega, she's deficient in B vitamins, she's deficient in all these minerals. So I highly recommend that even to take extra fish oils, omegas, and extra minerals and B vitamins while you're pregnant. Also, after you give birth, I have a website you can go to that gives a mineral bath to get in the bathtub and let your body immediately soak up the minerals that it needs in a mineral bath. Catherine Shahanahan, a molecular biologist, believes that most Americans are severely malnourished, which is why the second sibling syndrome, but subsequently each child being more and more malnourished. So nutrients must be present to build healthy brains, bones, immune system, heart, lungs, digestive systems, glandular systems, hormones, and so on. Vitamin D, 90% of our children are deficient in vitamin D, even though they were taking a prenatal supplement while they were pregnant. And omegas. These are the two main things. So 97% of the supplements are synthetic, pathetic synthetic, vitamin E. Let's do this. So Alexandra's going to help me. She's going to actually come over here and let me turn this around. And we're going to, Alexandra's going to squirt a real whole food vitamin E into the cup. And I'm going to do one that is synthetic, which 97% is synthetic out there. And we're going to squirt it into this cup. Righty. Okay. All righty. Can you spot a little bit of the difference already? We're going to raise it up here. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you notice here, this is very gooey. This is a byproduct of petroleum. This is your standard vitamin E that you're going to get in a standard prenatal vitamin and a standard vitamin wherever you buy it. This here is a cold extracted wheat germ oil with all 8 vitamin E's that is called water miscible. So this can heal you. This can kill you. And I say that because of the latest study showing of the synthetic vitamin E that it actually drives inflammation, causes cancer, and heart disease.
You put it closer to the screen so they can see it.
Absolutely. And that's the studies that they've been doing with the synthetic vitamin E.
The other one out there.
But the studies that were done with a real whole food vitamin E, oh my goodness, the real whole food vitamin E were fantastic, the studies. We can send you those studies because they're quite amazing. I want you to just tap the spoon with your finger, don't wipe it off, but just tap it with your. This is what's disrupting, don't wipe it off. This is what's disrupting your hormones, disrupting all kinds of things and issues. And guess what? Yeah, and I'm gonna let you lock it up with some green. But you can see the difference. Absolutely, the difference. Awesome. Vitamin E. Dangers of taking synthetic prenatal vitamins. I was in California and I had a gentleman who was a pharmacist. And he told me his story and he was actually crying as he was telling me this story. But the story he was sharing with me is I am a pharmacist. And yeah, I own a pharmacy, I'm a pharmacist, and he said, when I first learned and was told that the prenatal vitamins were all synthetic, and they actually studies showed that they cause birth defects, I didn't believe it. And he said, I went into my pharmacy and I pulled the labels off all my prenatal vitamins and I began to cry. He said they were telling the truth. So you can see here, birth defects. This is a study that was done in the New England Journal of Medicine for supplements for prenatal vitamins showing that they cause birth defects. Here's another one. Again, dangers in taking prenatal vitamins: irritability, inadequate potency, hard to digest, missing nutrients, all kinds of problems. This gentleman here that I pulled this slide from is one of the world-renowned nutritionists. I had an opportunity to spend a week with him in California. Choline is vitally important for our children. Anytime somebody calls me and has a child that's got ADD, ADHD, or any of these symptoms, I immediately put them on something called lecithin. Lecithin has choline in it and inositol. The neurons in the brain require this. They're not getting enough of it in our food supply, and prenatal supplements do not address it. So lecithin is vital with the Neolife lecithin, the Neolife Tray-N, which is green lipids, lipid therapy. By the way, the studies that were done on the Tray-N showed that child development was, meaning they were taller, they were stronger, and they had better bone structure than without Tray-N. These were studies that were done first on rats, and then they observed it with the children. They showed that when rats were given the Tray-N, they grew 3 times larger than the rat that did not have it. And this is not saying your child will be obese. It's just saying your child will have the muscle structure, the bone structure, the brain structure, all the structures necessary will actually grow to the height and the stature that was intended. So liver, by the way, I thought this was the lipid, okay, egg yolks, okay. The choline wasn't even recognized as a nutrition support until 1998. Prior to that, they didn't even know choline was necessary for brain function in a child development at all. So there is another product here that I notice is not on this slide, but it is called lipotropic adjunct. And your friend Debbie needs to know about this. But lipotropic adjunct was developed right here. This was developed with your specific B vitamins that are specifically necessary for child development. But what they found is this has inositol and choline in it also. But they found that it blocks the chromosome for birth defects. Every single person that is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant needs to be on lipotropic adjunct.
There's the long pink pill.
There. It's kind of a dark pigmentation. Yes, exactly. Why? Because it takes your homocysteine levels down. And homocysteine levels is actually the culprit for inflammation and things like that, but it blocks the chromosome for birth defects. Amazing. This is amazing, guys.
It is.
More than 60% of women with morning sickness. I have a friend, she's a school nurse, and her daughter just got pregnant. And so her daughter's calling her, Mom, I'm nauseous, I don't feel good. She goes, all right, I'm bringing over you some of Neolife Super B, and I'm bringing you over some protein. And so now, about 4 or 5 days later, I'm with my friend, and she's going, Mom, every time I get nauseous, I pop a Super B, and it just goes right away. I know it. So these women tended to be also dehydrated. So pay attention to your level of hydration during the day. But this is quite interesting. And then this is what I would do if I were guiding somebody in the stages of life and pregnancy, is get on the Pro Vitality Pack. Why? Because it has more nutrition. It's not synthetic. It's from human whole food. We were the pioneers in human whole food nutrition in the world. And it's quite amazing. It has a salmon oil in it. It's got your bees in it. It's got your grain lipids in it. It's got vitamin C in it. It's quite amazing. And the benefits are truly amazing. If I was to add anything to it, it would be extra salmon oil and extra Super B. And then I would also do some CalMag for the evening. Now, calcium, magnesium with 1,000 units of D is going to relax your muscles, and I would tank up on it just before you deliver. I work with women that have birthed 7, 8, 11 children on these nutritionals, and we have a private Facebook group we can connect you with called Babies and Beyond. And it's quite amazing, but I can tap into somebody that's been using our nutritionals for 50 years. And they can tell you, if I call her up and I say, what do you do for an earache? Oh my goodness, vitamin A. She'll tell me, do this, do this, do this. And if I call and say, oh, just before you deliver your baby, you take X number of CalMag. It'll be a much easier delivery because the muscles are going to be relaxed. And then your magnesium, again, it's minerals, minerals, minerals. Your tissue in your body will actually expand and not rip. You want that to, expand and contract. So yes, obviously we'd like supplementation to begin prior to pregnancy to get the best start in life. Clean Label Project found arsenic, cadmium, lead, acrylamide, high levels in nearly 80%, I'm gonna cry, of infant formula. Try to breastfeed. It is terrible. And somebody asked me the last class I did the other night, what infant formula do you recommend? And I've done my research, and unfortunately, I can't find one. So I just tell people, go find a goat farmer. And if you want to, go get the book called, Nourishing Traditions. And it was written by Weston Price, and in there is a recipe for as close to mother's breast milk. And you can start out with the goat milk, and you actually put vitamin E, our vitamin E in it. We crush up our chewable C in it. We actually use a couple of other things for added nutrition in it. And it works great. I have a friend, she had 7 children, she had a set of twins, and now her girls are all pregnant and they're having their babies. And her oldest one loves Neolife. She's got 3 children, she bakes her own bread. And she made her own formula through the Neolife products, adding to fresh, raw, unpasteurized milk. Because we get that at a co-op, a food co-op. So Make your own baby food. In other words, make your own baby food from organic sweet potatoes, organic, foods, grind it up yourself to introduce. And when you introduce foods, do it slowly, and do, just some basic foods when you introduce, because if you introduce too many at one time, it'll overload the body's digestive system and you'll end up having a reaction. Vitamin D, get plenty of sunshine, get that baby bump out there in the sunshine. I'm even reading about the importance, and I'm doing it, you'll find if I show you my belly, it's a bit tingy brown, because as I get my morning sunshine, I'm getting my midriff. You know why? Because it's speaking to my gut bacteria. And as that sunshine is penetrating my skin and realigning my gut bacteria, and they're thanking me over and over again. Amazing, isn't it? Vitamin D helps maintain levels of many essential nutrients like calcium and phosphate. So if you're deficient in vitamin D, your baby's going to be deficient in vitamin D. If your child's deficient, they're also going to be deficient in calcium. It's a spiral chain of events. So maternal, vitamin D, fetal, pregnancy, and childhood. We all need vitamin D. This is a major issue in America. About 80% are deficient in vitamin D. Every single woman with breast cancer is deficient in D. Every single male with prostate cancer is deficient in vitamin D. Every single person that died of COVID was deficient in vitamin D. What does that tell you? We're not getting enough sunshine, number one. And your vitamin D, by the way, needs to be from whole food, not from radiated lanolin. The Neolife vitamin D is from the human whole food chain. It's from mushrooms and an edible deer lichen. It's 1,000 units. And when people get off of even the prescription vitamin Ds, it's 5,000 units, 10,000 units. Their body's only assimilating very little of it. They switch to RD and all of a sudden their D levels come up. And you can test it in blood work. So power of protein, I can't tell you, you need protein. Protein. The perfect protein is an egg, but we have an amazing, delicious protein shake. So this is the point, you girls can go make a protein shake. This is for good milk production, lots of protein, but protein's necessary all through the stages of our life, especially with women with perimenopause, menopause, all of those stages in life, because you actually will regulate your hormones by increasing quality protein. Maintain stamina and vitality. It's a complete amino acid profile. We were the first company to ever come out with a protein in 1965, and we get one of the highest scores by the USDA standards they test for the quality of protein, because a lot of companies use synthetic amino acids. They don't use a whole profile of amino acids. They nitrogen spike their protein. They're not digestible. They cause kidney problems, all of the issues. They're full of lead. They're full of cadmium. They're full of BPA. They're full of carcinogens. And this is the most trusted protein on the market anywhere that I have found. Amazing. It's got a complete profile of all 22 amino acids. It is delicious tasting. It is so pre-digested that it will not put a load on your kidneys. It's a full meal replacement with 25 essential vitamins and minerals. It's amazing. It's delicious. And it's for the whole family. I've had couples call me up and say, my child is colicky. I can't calm them down. And I'll say, first of all, put drops on their mouth of our aloe. In the mouth of the baby, just drops in the mouth of the aloe, which the aloe is calming, soothing for colicky. Also, our probiotic, I say open it up, sprinkle it up, just put it, run your finger around the mouth of the baby. And then we did a mixture of our protein shake, very, very diluted. And they call me back and say, the first night that child slept all night, because the protein is so pre-digestible. Amazing. So supplement criteria, it needs to be made from human, whole food, natural ingredient produced under a pharmaceutical license to guarantee what we say on the label is actually inside. Company has done clinical trials on humans to prove its benefit, published in peer-reviewed medical publications, and a seal of accountability called SAB, Scientific Advisory Board. Amazing. Liquid Vite is our first children's nutritional. By the way, we were the first company to ever come out with a children's line of nutritionals from whole food. And this is from birth all the way through. So our Liquid Vite has your basic vitamins and minerals and has the lipid, has choline and inositol. It's easy to take. You just put it in some water or in a sippy cup or in a bottle. And it's absolutely wonderful. Because it covers your antioxidants, your lipids, your vitamin C's, inositol, choline. It's quite amazing. Then the VitaGuard, and I don't know if Marlene.
I think there's some right on the set.
Okay, VitaGuard. So let's.
She's got some in that one. It's
Uh,
not what-
This is square. I have a square, but not a guard.
Here, you need to know about it.
That would be my purse. So here, hun. There we go. All right, VitaGuard, and we're gonna serve the protein shake, and the protein shake is delicious. Again, it's a full meal replacement. And what flavor is that, Alexander? Vanilla. You can add berries to the vanilla. You can add anything you want to add as long as it's pretty healthy. But it's very filling. It is it's a meal replacement. So enjoy the meal. We had our shake this morning, but I'll take another shot of shake. Yay.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
That is good.
It's very good. Children will actually crave this. What they're really craving in their body is the nutrition from it. And it is delicious. So, Marlena went outside to get the VitaGuard, but the VitaGuard is the antioxidants to boost your child's immune system. It's chewable. Marlena's going to bring it in and let you taste it. It's equivalent to you consuming 9 fruits and vegetables throughout the day. The VitaGuard is. It's got selenium, it's got zinc, the flavonoids, vitamin C, and it's quite amazing. It's all natural, chewable from human whole food. Okay, do you want to just give it?
It's where, right?
No, guard. We got square here. Yeah, you can just pass them around. All right. So then Vital Square is your basic vitamin for the children. And it has your multivitamin, your minerals, your lipids that are necessary for your body development, your brain, and your body development, broad spectrum antioxidants, and your vitamin E entire family. It has zincs, helps support both immunity, better thinking, build bone mass in youngsters. It's quite amazing. Okay, so that I think is the squares. There's a guard and a square. Here's the square. You want to, all right, so you want to share it with them? All right, now here's the guard. The square is the multivitamins, and the guard is kind of an extra boost for the immunity. The protein shake. Oh, yeah.
Tell us what you think about it. Thumbs up? Tastes good?
All right.
I think you'll find some for me.
Love it. Again, the protein shake has 22 amino acids, 5 grams of fiber. It will not spike your blood sugar. Muscle growth and retention, weight management, repair, rebuild tissue, safe for kidneys, gluten-free, 90% lactose-free. Matter of fact, everything Neolife does is gluten-free. Salmonol is vitally important, as I've already shared in the beginning about how we're deficient in omegas and how especially a growing child needs for the brain. I can't tell you how many lives we change with children that are hyperactive, ADD, ADHD, have all kinds of spectrum issues, and how our omega-3 just deals with all of it. Calms the brain down, reduces inflammation. So you're looking at the company who has pioneered the world's first clinically tested omega. Berkeley did the human clinical test on it along with UC Davis, and showing that our omega-3 was the purest, and not only the purest, but the most potent, showing a reduction of inflammatory index by 68%. Also, it has all 8 omegas in it, which is found in nature, and it's cold extracted. We developed that technology of cold extraction in a nitrogen environment, and it's tested for over 200 toxins with a 0 tolerance. So from anything from headaches to migraines, improved circulation, if somebody wants to deal with anything from cholesterol issues to, you name it, smarter babies, brain health, postpartum depression, reduce your moods, easy monthly cycles, all of those things. Next is our vitamin C. We do have chewable vitamin C, but we did a class last night and somebody took them home. Yes, they did. So we had to call and track them down, but they were 20 miles away. And they did it by accident, but anyhow, they were like, we went looking for it for today, and like, well, anyhow, we were the first company. Thank you. This is my favorite. Vitamin C should include all the enzymes and bioflavonoids of a whole orange. We were the first company to actually address that and do that. We juice extract a whole orange to get our vitamin C. We have a wonderful chewable C for children, and it's equal to you consuming 4 oranges.
I'm addicted to them, by the way.
I know. Everyone, their kids, like, they shake the bottle. Mom, can I have some chewable C? They're like almost 300 tablets in a bottle, and they're just, I love them. I travel, if my throat gets scratchy. If I'm flying on a plane, I keep them rolling.
Yeah.
Constantly in my throat. But it's the power of 8 oranges with a super C and 4 oranges with a chewable C. Of course, it helps reduce colds and build collagen in the body. Vitamin C is necessary along with the amino acids from the protein shake, and improves lung functions and all the above. Aloe vera is great because, like I said, a colicky baby, digestive issues in a child. I love the aloe vera for that because it helps to calm. It is a de-stressor in the digestive tract.
That can help with diverticulitis as well.
Absolutely. It calms all the way through from the mouth to the anus. Yes, very much so. But, you know, when Bloomberg tested the aloe vera at Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens and Target, they found there was no aloe in it whatsoever. None. It was fake. It was fake. So also we have an aloe vera gel which actually is great for rashes, bee stings, or any kind of burns or cuts for a child growing up. It's a healing property, sunburns, any of that for the skin. We also have a wonderful sunscreen. Antibiotics are very harsh on children. I don't recommend them unless a child's life is in danger, but because there's a lot of side effects to it. My sister got 1 round of antibiotics while she was a child, and it turned her teeth brown. And the dentist says there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Yes, that was just a normal side effect of it. We recommend the garlic, which actually works as a strong antibiotic. There are studies to show you that our garlic actually works better than an antibiotic. I'll give you a story, an example. I had a gentleman in California who had gotten a nick on his arm, and it started getting infected, and it turned into blood poisoning, was running up his arm. His arm was getting very tight. We were traveling together. By the time we got down the mountain into the city where we were at, it was running all the way up his shoulder. He was starting to get a fever. It was all the symptoms and signs. Guess what? We said, get to the clinic. He got to the clinic. He opened the door of the clinic, and the doctor goes, we're closed. We just closed. Sorry. He goes, but look, I don't care. And they shoved him out the door and told him they would call the cops on him if he opened his mouth again. So we came back to the hotel, and I go, all right, we're gathering all the garlic. We're gonna call around to the groups. Somebody's got enough garlic for you. We began to pop the garlic, our Neolife garlic. 24 hours, it was gone. Yeah. Now it has all the family, the allium family in it. It's enteric coated, so it doesn't get destroyed in the stomach. And it's delivered in the cecum of the intestines where it needs to go in order to do what it needs to do. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. Anti-parasitic, antifungal, antibacterial. Here is an example of Mary Bruce antibiotics. Has the organic seal and everything. Sold online, sold in your health food stores. It had a bacteria in it that killed the child, and yet they continued to sell it on the shelf for 19 months, and it killed the child with the bacteria in it. Our Neolife acidophilus is amazing for a child because the child's hypochloric acid levels are not there very high in the stomach. You can actually open the capsule and put it on their food and get it in their body. Isn't that amazing? They don't even have to swallow it, although it's a little tiny bit. But it has active prebiotic, probiotic, 5 billion, 5 strands. It's quite amazing. I've had so many testimonies. People telling me that were naturopathic doctors. I've tried everything, nothing's working. You haven't tried this. And they do, and they call back and say, wow. So it is quite amazing. Simple tips to reduce body burden and risk: eat fewer processed foods. We talked about that. Eat organic when can, and food that is grown without synthetic pesticides. Don't microwave in plastics. Try to get rid of the plastics. Don't keep your water bottles in the car. If you do, put it in a cooler with a freezer pack, because when that heat, it actually emits the BPAs from the plastics. Run your tap water through a filter. Eat grass-fed meat, pasteurized raised eggs. There's so many variety of eggs to choose from. Choose the pasture-raised one in the case. Eat full-fat dairy. Don't eat low-fat or 1%, 2%, because it tastes like crap. It tastes terrible. And so they have to add artificial sweetener for it to be palatable. And they don't even have to put that on the label. Reduce the number of cosmetics and other personal care products. Our company actually has the most amazing shampoos, hair conditioners, body washes, and lotion and skincare you've ever put on your body, and it costs less than what you buy at Walmart. That's going to kill you. So avoid artificial fragrances. Don't use stain repellents on clothing or bedding or furniture. Reduce the number of household cleaners, switch to the Neolife. You'll save money and you'll save your health. Avoid using gasoline. Do not pump your own don't pump your own fuel if you are pregnant. And if you do, clip it and walk away and let it run out. Don't stand there and breathe the fumes. As a matter of fact, if you are pumping gas, standing over the pump, as the fumes are coming out, you're exposed to more toxins in that one setting than your grandmother did in her entire lifetime. Avoid that. Eat seafood that is fresh and do not eat tuna unless it is Safe Catch brand. Because Safe Catch brand tests different individual batches for mercury levels, but they tell you to reduce the amount, but you can have wild caught salmon because it has low levels, and the Safe Catch tuna, but don't eat it like every day. Don't use nail polish. And so enjoy the chain of life. It starts with those grain oils that they decided to take out of our food supply in the 1940s, but you'll find them added back to our food supply in the Pro Vitality Pack. Protein, you just drank the best protein shake on the market. Minerals, vitamins, and the coenzymes and enzyme factors, and then a moderate amount of your carbs and your fats. And I'm telling you, this is the chain of life for a healthy start in life and a healthy pregnancy. We do offer superior products because we are superior in the industry. We've been around for 66 years. We've had not one lawsuit against us. We are privately owned by a God-fearing man, and he knows that God put this company in his hands to steward over it so that we would have access to quality during a time when we were being terrorized by so many toxins. And so this actually concludes. Did we miss something? We did the broccoli, we did the meat, we did the shakes, all right. Did anybody learn how to
Day, not be.
Oh,
Yeah,
do it now.
we got it right.
Perfect, bring it on out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is that exactly?
Elevated, okay. Elevate is to replace all these energy drinks that everybody's drinking, to try to elevate, and the electrolytes. So we've helped. So this Elevate has vitamin D in it, vitamin C, B vitamins. It has your magnesium, potassium, and sodium for your electrolytes. And it is sweetened with stevia. It is also has suntheanine and L-theanine in it, a patented form of suntheanine, which is actually a amino acid that will lift and raise your dopamine levels. So this clinically will lift your dopamine levels about 37%. So your mood goes up. And there is caffeine from an extract of green tea in it. But the suntheanine actually levels off any negative side effects of the caffeine. So you get the lift without the letdown. So you get the lift. Thank you so much. So you get the lift without the letdown, but they just mixed that with Upbeat. And Upbeat is a nitric oxide made from beets, Joseph's coat, black ginger, and moringa. So you've got a combination of both in that one. And we mix it because a lot of people don't like the earthy taste of beets. So we just kind of camo it by putting it in with the Elevate, which kind of has a little berry flavor to it. So it tastes delightful. We love drinking it in the middle of the day, give you a little windshield wipers for the brains. Helps me to focus, helps me to give just a overall general level feeling of wholeness.
You could add that to your protein shake, like the vanilla one, that kind of bland.
I love the upbeat in the protein shake. That to me, when I started doing that, it's a must, and everywhere I go now, if anybody does it, they come back, go, wow. Because it just brings out the berry flavor versus any earthy flavor.
Also put it in with the berry,
Any
vanilla.
any of them.
You can add it to chocolate as well.
You can. Thank you so much. There we go. Awesome. So, has anybody learned anything here?
Yes.
Finished from what I.
I'm gonna pump Stephanie's gas for her throughout her whole pregnancy.
Awesome. Yes.
I learned that the vanilla shake tastes better than the chocolate shake.
The vanilla shake takes, that's taste preference. Yeah, and you can do a lot of variety with the vanilla shake, adding berries, adding different things.
And I
Yes,
also learned about all the toxic stuff and different, things that people use.
yeah, from skincare, personal care, and home care. It's time to lift the load, stop putting money in the pockets of Procter and Gamble and Johnson and Johnson. And start supporting a company that's been doing it right for 66 years. And reap the benefits. You learned something.
What'd you learn today?
That the shakes taste good.
That's still.
Just sit still. Awesome. Awesome. Does anybody, all right, let me see. I am going to stop here. And I'm going to. Okay. Stop share. Stop share, and then I want to go down here too.